So for this exercise, we're going to match the rig on the left to the reference image on the right. It's a fun exercise to see if we can train our eye to find those line of action poses and match them in our rig. So I don't want to do any drawovers. I don't want to match the rig like this and pose it. I'm going to challenge myself, and hopefully this will increase our ability to find that line of action when we're looking at a reference or a storyboard or something like that. We'll start with a pretty generic pose, not really any emotion going on here, but you remember we're trying to get that nice C curve. We can start by moving the head in the proper position. You'll notice that her head is in line with this leg. That keeps her balanced. So if we select this, and we can kind of move our character off to the side already, just that alone adds a little bit more interest. We can extend this leg out and point the toes just like in our reference. Now let's try and get more of that C curve. So we can rotate the body this way and move the arms into their position. If we take a look at the shoulders, they're pretty much square, so we can kind of square them off. And we'll rest this hand here, and we can change our hand drawing to something more relaxed. If we take a look at the shapes in between our character's arm and body, that's called negative space. And we can't match it completely, but we can kind of make sure we have a similar shape. Interesting shapes in the negative space is a really important thing to look at when it comes to good posing. We can smooth out these curves. And there you have it. Our first pose is basically done. We don't want to spend too much time on this. We just want to make sure we get that nice C curve and some interesting shapes in the negative space. Let's try and convey more of an attitude now. This guy looks pretty angry or determined, so we're going to turn our head. And we need to get that nice C curve in the body, so we will drop our character like this. We can rotate the body forward like this. Take a look at the shoulders. They are going in this direction. So we can kind of turn them in that direction. We need to move this arm in front so we can move it forward in Z depth. And notice how, just like before, this foot is in line with his chin. So we can move this over a tiny bit. And we can move his head over a tiny bit as well. Let's take a look at the negative space between the legs. It's more of like, it's almost a rectangle. Let's turn this knee in, and let's move this foot out. So now it's a little more in line with what we want. Let's curve the arms to get those nice C curves in those arms. And again, notice this negative space between the arm and the leg. Let's try and match that in our character. So we can move this arm back, and let's drop the body a little bit lower. Notice here how we added some negative space, just like we did in the other pose, to kind of make this a little bit more interesting and easy to read. Let's change the hands, and now let's emphasize that C curve with our deformers. These forearms are a little too big, so we can kind of shrink them down. And let's finally get this nice angry expression on our character. The last thing, notice this curve on the back. We can again use our deformers to kind of get that curve. There we go. So there we go. That looks a little bit more angry, and it's still giving us a nice C curve. Let's do another emotion. This is sad, right? But if we notice, it's just kind of a C curve for the arms and for the body. Let's drop our character low. Let's move him back like this. And let's bring those knees down so we can get that nice curve. There we go. We're just dragging pieces in place. Arms are out like this. We'll curve them later. And the head is up. We can really start bending the body back and using those deformers again to kind of emphasize those curves. Notice how we do the deformers almost last. They're just to kind of clean up our pose rather than create the whole pose from scratch. So also notice his knees are more forward, so we can even move his knees like that. Let's do the hands. His hands are wide open. Let's just curve them. We can take a look at the negative space in between the arm. It's pretty similar. I'm happy with that. The last thing, let's get a nice sad expression on our character. So you can try posing out this character yourself, or you can even find references online and pose out the character to whatever reference you want. But again, the poses don't have to be perfect. This is more of an exercise to train your eye to be able to match a reference to a rig. Because when you're an animator, you basically do that every day with the storyboards. And for this, try not to do any drawovers, just kind of do it freehand. You saw the size of my character change a little bit. Don't worry too much about that. This is just to train your eye to see the line of action, the negative space, and to copy it onto your rig.